Okay, Greg Pippin's up. He says, hey, Bradley, what are some ways to use RSSMasher to get actual traffic to the feeds and links to get the feeds actually found by people and viewed? I've already done all the advanced RSS Academy steps from IFTTT, which are really not for traffic. Thanks. Yeah, the advanced RSS Academy stuff wasn't for traffic. It was more for SEO. But RSSMasher can actually generate traffic. There's a couple ways that you can do that. Number one, you can burn feed burner feeds from the RSSMasher feeds, because a lot of people will subscribe to feed burner feeds or pull them to, essentially scrape them to republish for auto blogs and stuff. I've noticed that a lot. Like, I've got some old feed burner accounts that have feeds that I generated, 5 years ago that have hundreds of subscribers, which is crazy to me. So I know that just burning a feed burner feed alone can actually get you some traffic. If not actual traffic, it can actually get you some additional links, because people will use those feeds sometimes just to set up for auto blogs or for filler content and that kind of stuff. And so you can get additional links from other people's websites that way. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, if you are building out syndication networks for those RSSMasher feeds, tier 2 networks, then they're themed well, right? And you have your own IFTTT network around it, then over time, they should build up authority in their own right and start to generate some traffic, because some of the blog posts, the posts on the Web 2s will get found just naturally, organically. They'll get found and will generate some traffic. But another way, probably the best way or the quickest way to shortcut that, or to generate traffic the quickest, is to, if you were using Browsio, I don't know if you are or not, Greg, but Browsio is a fantastic piece of software that, if any of your networks that you set up for syndication for syndicating the RSSMasher posts, or the RSSMasher feed, I should say, if you were to take the time to actually build out the social profiles and engage, or hire a VA, which is what I recommend you do, is hire a VA to run Browsio for you and to just work on, let's say you had, I don't know, let's just throw out a number. Let's say you had 5 syndication networks that were well themed, persona based, or they could be pseudo brands, it doesn't matter, but they're well themed, and you're feeding them with RSSMasher. Then what I would do is have a virtual assistant actually using Browsio to start building up, like, for example, the Facebook profile and the Twitter profile of those 5 different accounts, right? And that way, as you can, over time, it's not going to happen overnight, but over time, you should have a true, real following that can generate, that's interested in that content, that's going to generate real traffic. And that's where the power of RSSMasher comes in my opinion. I mean, the SEO part of it's great, but we can accomplish SEO, achieve an SEO benefit from just using RSS feeds, traditional RSS feeds. And we cover how to do that in Advanced RSS Academy. And also Lisa Allen's Rank Feeder is a great tool for adding SEO, or, for improving SEO with feeds. But the traffic aspect of it is, in my opinion, is where RSSMasher shines, and doing what I just mentioned, with building out some real profiles for specific networks, and then actually engaging and building up followers, not just 100% auto posting all the time. It's going to take a little bit of work, but once you build up those social profiles, now you have real active audience, an engaging audience that's going to send real traffic, real social signals, and real engagement to wherever you choose. So hopefully that was helpful. Does anybody want to comment on that?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I mean, I second what you were saying. I mean, we have had great results with Twitter, for example, for personas, using that, using like completely 100% autopilot Twitter accounts, that they will become influencers. And there's some studies right now and some patents. Maybe, this is a job for Marco, but when a persona becomes an influencer, every link that he or she posts on their social media will become much more strong. You know what I mean? So, for example, many people's doctors and I don't know, scientists and researchers, etc., they do not own a website. They don't. But what they do is that they put out papers that you can find on Google Scholar, for example, and you will find those names over and over again. And on the Internet of Things, the semantic web, people are actually things, you know, in terms of how Google processes them. So let's say that, I don't know, Bradley Benner appears over and over and over again as being an influencer on the search engine ranking space, you know, or the search engine marketing or whatever, you know, internal marketing space, digital marketing space. So you will start being quoted on articles, and you will be found on Google Scholar, and you will be found, you know, here and there and there and there, and then you will have a Google Plus profile, etc. That link that you put out on your social profiles, on Twitter, on Google Plus, that you share on YouTube, etc., will become much more powerful and relevant than a persona. You know, I get hammered every day with those fake Facebook profiles, you know, that you can totally tell that they're fake. You know, that persona, that person becomes an influencer. You can actually emulate this behavior, as Bradley was saying, with Browsio. And one of the best ways of doing it is by sharing, you know, authority content, etc., etc. So RSSMasher is a great, I mean, we have been doing this with RSSMasher right now, but we have been doing this with other like free tools like Chimfeeder. We used to do Yahoo Pipes, which I love that tool, you know, Yahoo Pipes back in the day. But the theory behind it is always the same. You can get a ton of traffic because of authority grabbing, like your website being mentioned over and over again among other authority websites. We already know that, but we have been finding that personas, the more following they get and the more they get mentioned among other experts, etc., the more weight their links get. It doesn't matter where they get shared. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense at all?
Yeah, of course. And I mean, that's kind of the whole point is, you know, and that's where Browsio is so strong, because you can actually create digital footprints, which is what you want to do. You know, SEOs always say we want to try to minimize or reduce or hide our footprint, eliminate a footprint. But with Browsio, you do it correctly. You're actually creating a digital footprint, which is what you want. And that's how you become, that's how you can make personas become influencers. And even if they're not influencers, if you get enough following and engagement from a persona account, you can, it doesn't have to necessarily be an influencer for it still to carry weight. You can still generate traffic. And then again, like Hernan said, the links from those type of accounts that are weighted more heavily count a lot more. The links are weighted more as well. So it's not just the traffic, it's also the SEO benefit.